Today we are back with a brand new build on NBA 2K22. Now a few days ago, I think almost a week ago, I uploaded a video about a super secret build I had never really seen before. And so in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make that build. This build gets the best dunk package in the game, pro dribble moves, Hall of Fame shooting badges, a 94 3-pointer, and ratings in the 90s for defense. Now it's possible some people have made this build in the past, but honestly, it's something I had never seen before. And I thought it was super overpowered and super underrated. I had literally seen like none of these. They're not very popular. And so in today's video, I want to show you guys how to make it. Now I know there is only about a month until the next game comes out, but if you guys are looking to have some fun for the last 30 days of NBA 2K22, last days of summer, if you guys are going back to school, this is a great build to do it with. Again, this build is one of the most all-around builds I have seen on NBA 2K22. It can play defense, it can shoot, it can dribble, and it can dunk. When you combine all of those four things, you make for an incredible build that is just unstoppable on the game. With how good this build is on offense, its ability to ISO, it is a little bit short, but honestly, it works very, very well as a twos guard. And with its ability to ISO, even take screens, its ability to shoot and dribble, along with play elite defense, is just pretty much unmatched by any other build in NBA 2K22. But before we hop in and I show you guys how to make this build, if you are not subscribed, please make sure to hit that sub button. Something like 90% of the people that watch my videos are not currently subscribed. And if everyone just subscribed, then we'd be at like 500k subscribers, which would absolutely be insane. But you know what I'm saying? You guys got to subscribe. And listen, make sure to drop a like on this video for me showing you guys how to make this build. It is super, super overpowered. And let's see if we can get to 1,000 likes on this video. That'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and hop in and show you guys how to make this overpowered build. All right, guys, now hopping into how to make the build right here, you guys can see the position is a shooting guard. The handedness does not matter, and the jersey number also does not matter. But please make sure you do have shooting guard as the position. It's very, very important to make this build. Now, you guys can see there's a lot of different pie charts, but the pie chart for this build is actually a different one. It's a very, very unique one. I haven't really seen any other people use this pie chart, and it's this more green than red. This is what allows you to have such a high three-pointer on this build while still being really, really good at defense and being able to play make a little bit. And obviously for the physical profile, we want to be the fastest possible, so I'm going to go the pure speed profile. Now, starting off upgrading this build, I'm going to just start with my shooting, because the shooting, I know we're going to max it all out. It's going to be 26 shooting badges. And if you have extra badges, you can always put them on shooting. Whatever finishing, you're probably going to want to put one on finishing, because you only get one finishing badge on this build. And in order to get that limitless takeoff, you're probably going to want an extra badge on finishing. Now for playmaking, we're going to upgrade ball handle, pass accuracy, and we're going to upgrade post control until we have 12 playmaking badges. There we go. And you guys can see 12 playmaking badges is not too many, but it's enough to get, you know, the basic essential dribbling badges you need and everything you need. You're not going to be able to run like tight handles and all that other stuff, but you're going to be able to get the basics. Next thing we're going to upgrade is all of our defense. So lateral quickness, perimeter defense, steal. We're going to upgrade block, and we're going to upgrade our defensive rebound until we have 18 defensive badges. Now, 18 defensive badges, it may sound like a lot, it may sound like a little, depending on how you view defensive badges. But the thing about this build is you do not get Hall of Fame defensive badges. So that 18 badges can actually be spread across a lot more badges. For example, if you had 3 Hall of Fame badges, that'd be 12 badge points, but you can have 4 gold badges, and that's still only going to be 12 defensive badges. So only having 18 is not really an issue for me. It spreads out very, very nicely between your badges. And you guys can already see this build is shaping up very, very nicely to be a super all-around build, very, very elite defense, pretty decent playmaking, and very elite shooting. That combination in itself is extremely overpowered on this game. And finally, when you move driving dunk and driving layup into the mix and unlock quick drops off one on this build, one of the best dunk packages of the game that hardly ever gets blocked, it just goes to a whole nother level. Now, you don't get a finishing badge like I was saying earlier, but if you have hit level 40 in any season, I would highly recommend putting at least one of those badges on finishing to get silver limitless takeoff. If you don't, it's not the end of the world, but it will definitely help you out a lot. Another area I would definitely focus on with extra badge points is playmaking. Playmaking is a little weak on this build, but it can definitely do the job if you know what you're doing when it comes to dribbling. Now, your body shape obviously does not matter. You can go with any body shape you want, but it is a guard build, so I'm going to go with a smaller frame. And for the height, now this build is, I believe, 1.92. Now, if you convert that into inches or feet, it is 6.2992 feet, or 6 feet and 3.59 inches. Now, I'm not even going to try to waste my breath explaining to you guys that 6.2992 feet is actually 6'3.5". because I already know there's going to be some person in the comments that's going to comment something dumb because they failed like 5th grade math. But this build is 6'3.5" inches pretty much. It's a little bit taller than 6'3.5". And so it is a pretty solid height for a guard build on 2s, 3s. Doesn't really matter. It is a pretty solid height though. The main problem with this build would be if the height was like 6 foot, I feel like, but it's 6'3.5", and you could make it a tiny bit shorter if you wanted to as well in order to get like extra ball handle if you really wanted to. But in my opinion, it's not really worth it, since 1.92 meters is definitely the best thing to do. And also, if you guys don't know how to get 1.92 meters or the metric system on your screen, in the main menu, you are going to want to scroll down. You're going to want to go to settings and scroll all the way down to something called the units of measurement in your main menu settings. It has to be the main menu. So you're going to scroll down until you see units of measurement. And what you're going to do at that point is going to make that metric system. And then you'll have the meters and the kilograms in the build system. And it just helps to make your build a little more precise. But anyway, enough rambling. 1.92 meters is the height for this build. The weight is going to be minimum because we just want to be the fastest build possible, obviously. And finally, for the wingspan, it's going to be 1 up. Now, originally, when I played on this build, I thought this was a minimum wingspan build because I thought there's no way you can get this high of a 3-pointer having a max wingspan. So, but to my surprise, when I actually went to make this build, because like I said, I played on someone else's account with this build, and when I went to actually make the build, I noticed that you actually go up 1 on the wingspan and not minimum. So that was actually just a plus to this build, made it even better. And obviously, when you have a longer wingspan, you're gonna get more steals and you're gonna be a better defender. And with that finishing, that should end off this build with the final stats before 99. And when you hit 99, you can have a 92 3-pointer, 80 ball handle. Your defensive stats are gonna be the high 80s, low 90s, which is absolutely insane. And obviously, you're gonna get that quick drops off 1 when finishing, which makes for this build to be a super overpowered defensive and ISO build on the 2s, and it can even probably play 1s and 3s. So this build is just super OP all around. And going into what takeover, I actually mentioned in my video that I did gameplay on this video. If you guys haven't seen that, go check it out. The person's account I was on had shot creating takeover, but I actually think shot creating takeover is not the best takeover for this build. I think it's actually the worst takeover out of these 4 options. Now, in my opinion, the best takeover for this build is gonna be sharp, but it's all preference. So for me, I was making this build, I would pick sharpshooting takeover. It's just gonna boost your 3-pointer super high, and when you're in takeover, you're never going to miss. Now, if you intend on using this build as more of a lockdown build, or you're struggling with defense, I would definitely pick lockdown takeover. And finally, this build is a little bit weak on playmaking. So when you get playmaking takeover, when you throw that into the mix, it's gonna allow this build to kind of lessen that weakness of playmaking and make it a lot more solid playmaking wise. And so if you do pick playmaking takeover, then it just adds a whole other dimension to the build, makes it super OP when you're dribbling super fast, and you still have that defense and that shooting. But in my opinion, I'm just going with sharp takeover. In my opinion, it's the best takeover. And you guys can see the build comes out as a 2-way sharpshooter. Now, I believe this build name is pretty common this year, but with everything this build can do, it can literally do everything. It could do everything. And just going in and testing the build out right here, I'm going to show you guys the badges I would use on this build. And so finishing badges, it's definitely going to be limitless takeoff. If you have an extra finishing badge to put on, I would definitely put it on silver limitless takeoff. Shooting, going to be hot zone, sniper, stop and pop, blinders, deadeye, and maybe even like mismatch expert, or you could even throw on like chef. There's a lot of different things you could do, but these are the main badges I would probably run on this build. For playmaking, now you only have 12, but obviously you're gonna have the 3 major important ones: handles for days, quick first step, quick chain. And I've seen a decent amount of people say that quick chain is actually like not that important, but if you have a low ball handle, you definitely need quick chain. If you have like a 95 ball handle, maybe you could like put it on like bronze, but this build only has an 80. And if you put this on bronze, you dribble super slow. When I actually got on the account, the person's account that it was, he had on bronze quick chain. I tried to dribble and it was super slow. And I put on gold quick chain and all of a sudden I was dribbling a lot faster. So gold quick chain, I would definitely have on, bronze unpluckable, bronze bullet passer, and bronze bailout. And this would be my setup, the most basic it can possibly be, but it gets the job done. And finally, for defensive badges, there's a lot of stuff you could do. Definitely have on clamps, menace, and intimidator. In my opinion, those are 3 really important guard badges. I would probably throw an interceptor silver, maybe like bronze chase down, bronze rim protector, bronze rebound chaser. If I'm gonna be playing defense in like 2s or 3s, I'm gonna want on pick dodger as well. And if I'm playing like 1s, I'm definitely gonna want on like ball stripper. And this is something I would run. You could like take away a badge and upgrade other badges if you want, but this is something I would run if I was playing like 2s. And that about wraps up this build. I know 2K22 was coming to a close here, but if you're looking for a build to have fun on for the last month, or maybe you don't even plan on getting 2K23 when it drops, this is a great build to use. Super fun build, and extremely overpowered. But with all that being said, I don't waste too much time on the outro. I'm out, man. Peace.